Hello. Welcome to the first step on our learning process, which are drafting. Here, let me show you the example. This is my draft from my old works, and here's the finished comparisons. So what happened here is we want to visualizing our idea, making rough sketch, break down the movement, and deciding which parts to be drawn. So basically just start and try to draw whatever inside your brain. Okay, let's start opening our drawing software and make new files. The size or ratio for drafting process are up to you. Since we will end up making new project files for the drawing process later, since it's only draft, feel free to use any size of canvas. I usually start with deciding the angle of the head. Oh yeah, so when making this class, I pretty much have the idea already. That's why I didn't take much time in creating one. But it is normal to take a long time in deciding the overall visual for your draft. Especially like deciding the pose or what the characters will be look like. But in my case, I already decided. The appearance and the outfit also doesn't need to be fixed right now. You can decide the details later. As long as the change is not too extreme, of course. Since if you change the outfit too much, you end up will rethink a lot of details later. Now the body. I didn't draw the full body since I don't think it will be shown. My animation mostly focus on bust up. Not because I'm lazy at drawing legs. Okay, well, I'm like too. I'm lazy at drawing legs. But also because I want to focus on the character face instead and the details on it. So bust up are enough. Basically, my main idea are I want to make male character that using red round glasses. And the animation will include him taking down the glasses. I want to add a lot of accessories since I want to show you how to animate various kind of object, not only the character. Glasses will be a good example and good practice for you. The glasses will be our main charm in this animation. Okay, let's add chain too. Don't forget the hand, of course, since I want to teach on how to add dimension on the hand. The pose will be about like this. Also, the draft can be rougher than this. It is okay if the face still ugly or the body unproportional. You can even draw them with 4 fingers only. It doesn't matter. As long as you know you got the main point, like the pose. Since usually you only make the draft for yourself, right? So you will be the one who see this. So as long as you yourself understand the meaning, it doesn't matter if it's really raw. I just try to make it as clean as possible so you can understand it more clearly. If only myself seeing this, I think I will only draw stickman or something. Okay, I think overall the results will be look like this. The idea inside my brain. Now what I want to do is I want to decide the ratio for our animation. This time I want to make the results to have square ratio, not landscape or portrait, since I think it fit my idea better. These steps are able to be adjusted later after seeing the final animation, but I like to do it now because I want to check the overall balance, whether there is too much empty space and if we need to fill it with various objects. Okay, let's hide the preview outside the box so we can have better looks. Okay, after cut the preview, I feel there is too much empty space, especially on the top of the head. So let's add something. At first, I think I want to add horns, but I use horn too often already on my works, and I want to try something new for this class. So how about, okay, joke. Okay, I got an idea. Since I usually do demon type of character, why not use angel this time and add a halo instead? I also think it will be cute to add small wings, but probably just a decoration on the back body. I will not animate it like real wings. Okay, what's next? I also want to add an object in front of him, and I think another chain will match the theme. So my plan is to add parallax effect on the chain. For you who don't know what parallax is, I will explain the meaning later on our animation process, don't worry. Let's blur it so we can focus on the character. Okay, I think it's enough. Okay, let me move it a little bit, just a little bit. I think it's enough, and this is kinda what I imagine for the overall visual later. Now we start break down what will happen in our animation. We will draw or write the motion that will happen in here, start one by one. But before we do it, I just want to remind you that our animation duration will revolve around seconds, not minutes, but seconds. That's because this type of animation are really heavy, especially if you want to add a lot of details and deforming, and that will be happen in our animation. My usual works typically around 8 to 12 seconds, and it's already burdening my laptop a lot, especially near the finish. I want to make sure we can see the real-time animation preview in full quality, so I will not too ambitious for the motion, but we will still include important fundamentals like our first motion, which is head rotation. Now, I plan to open the scene with him facing to the left or his right, like this. And then the gaze will move to screen, and It's kinda look like he realized us. And then the head will turning into more front position while changing the expression, like smiling, I think. It's really crucial to decide your face angle shiftment since the beginning, since it's not like VTuber model assets that prepare to be seen at all angle. That's why they need a high amount detail. But in our case, we only need to prepare the assets for the face angle we decide. So it will help us to avoid spending time to create assets that we end up not using. After break down the head rotation, we can dissect it into more detailed one. As we see here, the eyes. For the eyes, I plan to make it blink. And the eyeball will also move, which pretty much means we need to separate all the eyes part. There's a huge contrast in making your eyes blink or not, since if there is no movement on the eyes, you can just merge all the layers of the eyes. So you only need one asset for the eyes. But if you want to animate it, you need to separate it into at least eyebrow, top lip, bottom lip, well, at least 5 layers for eyes only. The next one, as you can see, when I try to draw the head shift to front, the left ear or his right ear appear. So even though I didn't draw the left ear on our overall preview, the one inside the box, make sure to prepare the left ear for the animation. You can also see the change on expression will include the mouth close and open. So that will going into our separation list. Since the mouth movement means we need to separate the lips, the teeth, the tongue, etc. Okay, let's see what's next. For the halo, I want to make it look like it have a crystal type of material or something that really shiny. Since a lot of you curious on how I make the shiny or color shift effect on the object of my usual animation, I think the halo will be a good demonstration for this kind of effect. Another important breakdown are the glasses. Since I'm planning to start my animation with side face, I want the glasses to first cover the eyes. So the eyes will be hide on the back on the glasses. It will be also reflective for fancier results. I will play with the light on the glasses. Okay, let's draw. Okay, I will try to draw it on more details so you can more understand it. Basically, the opening will be like this angle. And then the next angle of the face will be like this. So there will be the glasses will be animated to fit the angle face. I will use their hand to take down the glasses and show the eyes to you and winking, I think. I think wink will be good additional, but we will see. It can be decided later on the animation process since blink and wink need the same asset separation. So we doesn't really need to think it on the asset preparation. We can just decide later on the animation process. Okay, don't forget the body. For the body, I will also add dimension on it. I think rotation from left to more front side will be good additional match for the head, but not too much. I will not do the angle shiftment on the body too drastic. With this, we also know that we need to separate the main body part from their arm since the body will be moved. I rarely need to separate the body part since my animation usually focusing on the head or the face. But for this case, we will do separate. Now, after seeing the preview again, I have an urge to add more accessories. I mean, some rings and earrings will not hurt anybody, right? Sorry if my preference are techy, probably to some of you. More items means I can give more information to you, right? Since I do want to show you how to animate various type of objects. For the chain in front of the character, I will not animate it too much since it will not be our main focus. I think the shine and like the flickering lights will be enough for it and the parallax too. I will also make a shifting focus from the chain to our character. So the plan is in the opening, we will focus on the chain and the character will be blurred. Then once the character start moving, the chain will be blurred and the focus change into the character instead. I think that's all for the movement I will add. After draw it one by one like this, we start to realize even though the animation are simple, it's already consists a lot of things to do. That's why I said previously, we want to make sure we can manage our idea first before adding too much what we call ambition. So let's make it manageable first. Okay, let's write it down to summarize it. For the first one, the face tilt, the face angle will change from left to almost front. And for the eye, it will be blinking and the eyeball will also moving because we want to play with the stare or gaze. The next one, the left ear will appear later, so we need to make sure to provide one. Remember to draw it on the asset preparation, on the assets drawing process, I mean. And for the mouth, it will be open and closing and also change shape into smiling. And for the halo, I will have a color shift like crystal or hollow material. I will decide the type of color later in the animation process since I want to make sure it balances with the character results. It will be also really reflective, like really shiny. For the glasses, it will have like reflection too. And the hand will move to take down the glasses so we can see the eyes. And for the closer scene will be him winking at us. Probably, we will see. There will be also a body tilt to match the head, but just a little bit, not too extreme. And for the chain, I will add parallax and blurring like the one I explained before, the focus shifting. Oh, okay. For the chain, I think it's obvious already, but just to make sure we're on the same page. Since I will make it blurred later in After Effects, that's mean we need to prepare the assets while it focused, not blurred. So we want to draw the chain in like normal way without blurring it, because it's not possible to deblur the assets. Not if you want the good quality, of course. But in the case if your object are blurring all the time in the for your animation results and have no animation on it, it is okay to make the assets blurred since the beginning, because use blur effect on After Effect will be an additional weight to your animation file. So if you doesn't really need to focus it and have no animation, just blur it before import it into your animation file. Okay, let me recheck it again. The head, the eyes, the mouth. Oh, the hands. Since the hand will do movement and I want to add a dimension on it, we will also separate the hands on details. Like we will end up separate all the fingers and even the nails. We will separate it. Okay, I think that's all. So this is will be the breakdown of what will happen on our animation we will learn to make on this class. To be honest with you, I usually skip this process, the drafting. I didn't draw my idea. Instead, I just imagine it on my head. Okay, before you say something, in my defense, I already make a lot of animation, so I think I pretty much know what to prepare already before entering the animation process. So drawing the idea are not really necessary for me. But if you are new to it, drafting process are important to make you more prepared. Okay, just let me show you an example of why creating draft are important. Imagine this is you and you have an idea. Probably you want to draw a character that is smiling and you want to animate it. Okay, now you start drawing the assets. But you haven't decided the type of animation, since you think, okay, let's just decide it later when animate it. And then when you start to import the finished assets to After Effects, now you start have an idea. Okay, I think I want to make the character blink. But because you didn't decide it since the beginning, what happened is you didn't provide the assets with the anticipation that it will be blinking. You only provide the animation assets based on your raw idea, like the hair, the head, the eyes closed, and the mouth open. And this means you end up missing the eyeball, which obviously must be there if you want to make the eyes open. In this case, it means we need to go back again to the drawing process to create the eyeball for the animation. This isn't sounds like a big problem since it's just a small object and only one. But what if you miss a larger element? That will make the process less efficient because you have to redo the steps that's supposed to be finished already. Mistakes indeed are normal and they still happen to me a lot, but by deciding the motion on the first place in the drafting process, it will help you to reduce this kind of errors and makes the workflow far smoother. Now, after knowing the meaning and purpose of drafting, we officially done with the drafting lessons. Hopefully it's clear enough. After this video, we will jump into the sketching step. But as I mentioned before, it will not include the real-time video of me drawing it, since it's purely illustration process which not include on this class. But I will still explain what to prepare and decide on the sketch. See you on the next video. Bye!